In recognition of Juneteenth, we're discussing diversity in the workplace. Tom Gimbel from this LaSalle Network joins us now with some insight on that. Hi, Tom.
Hey, Micah, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic, thanks.
Let's talk about DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion, how a lot of companies are trying to do that. And you, I know, have something coming up tomorrow we're going to get to in a little bit to talk about that. But how can a company make this issue a priority in the workplace?
Well, I think it really has to start from the top down. And it's great that staff wants it and believes in it, but staff, sometimes they come and go, right? You have turnover. You have people that when they don't have a lot going on, they have more time to give to extracurricular activities in the workplace. But if it's an executive mandate that DEI is something that the company is going to focus on, it becomes something that gets part of the DNA of the organization.
It becomes ingrained in the organization.
Exactly. And the other thing is, it doesn't happen. We had the George Floyd situation 2 years ago, and all of a sudden we had BLM and a lot of other stuff. It doesn't just happen in a quarter or even a year. It happens over years. And that's why our head of HR, who's been with me for over 20 years, Samara Campbell, always says, we call it DEB, diversity, equity, and belonging. Because you can be included on things and still not feel like you belong.
Right.
And I believe that there is an emotional connection that goes so far beyond the words. And I believe that that's really hard to find.
If you are an employee, what are some signs that your company is not supporting diversity in the workplace?
It's a good question. It's an interesting way to look at it, Micah. I'm not sure that a lot of companies aren't supporting it. I just believe that they're all not doing everything they can to push it forward as fast as you can.
So how do you do that then? How do they do that? How do they push it forward? How do they make it a part of the DNA?
Well, I think that's the really interesting point, Micah, because it can feel forced when you have logos. We do this, right? I don't think we're forcing it, but we do it because you need quote unquote brand awareness. But just by slapping a rainbow logo on something, just by doing something for the month of June every year, I think a lot of companies
February.
Or February.
Hispanic Heritage Month.
Or whatever week or month is the quote unquote flavor of the month, right?
Right.
And I just don't think that's it. I believe that it's having a committee within your company. I believe that it's the executives dropping in and out to show their support. They obviously can't do everything all the time, but to be a part of the committees, to rotate on the committees from an executive level, to talk to the staff, to understand what people are feeling, not just what the branding is, but what people are feeling. We had a DEI event for our own company the other day, and one of the most interesting things was we had a gay participant on the panel, and she came out and she said, it's not that you come out once, it's that you come out every time you meet new people. And I thought that was so fascinating in a way of looking at things that I had never thought of or seen, and so many of our staff said the exact same thing. And you don't get that by having a marketing campaign. You get that by having an authentic and real conversation.
What about having a DEI department in itself and having a head of DEI, just someone to do that and have that there, just stay there? It's just normal.
And we have clients that do that, and I fully support it. I do think there's two ways of looking at it. That if you dump it on a role, then it becomes part of that role versus the entity of the company itself and all of leadership. Now, I think when you have the right person in that role, they're going to pull people in, and that's a great thing. But, how many people are involved in finance besides people who work in finance? How many people are involved in sales besides people who work in sales? So the reason I don't love it purely is I think it says, okay, we're creating this role, here it is, versus saying it's a whole company initiative all the time. And I really like that aspect.
Yeah, I do too. And now the virtual panel, that's tomorrow, or you had that last week?
No, the one last week was an internal one that we did because a lot of the people didn't feel comfortable broadcasting to the world. But tomorrow morning, we are having an event that we're really excited about. And if you go to our website, LaSalleNetwork.com, you can see all the information for where, when, and how to log on.
So anybody can join?
Anybody can join, and we have different panelists from different companies, and we do have people who are DEI leaders at their companies. So I'm not saying that's not good. I'm just saying there are multiple ways to look at it and go about it.
I
and
understand.
DEI in any way, shape, or form, Micah, is better than not having it.
It's a plus. Thank you, Tom. Appreciate it.
Absolutely.
See you next time.
Good to see you.
Bye.
Yep.